Hey everybody, it's Uncle Wayne with another episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. We're still going on with the Fools Podcast Bash, and tonight we have got the Blackhawk Fools on. Guys, how are you doing?
Great. How you doing?
All right, so why don't you take a second and tell the world who you are?
All right, I'll give you a quick breakdown. Blackhawk Fools. So we're a new chapter just started last year, July timeframe. North Central Illinois. I'm Dustin Champlain. I'm the president.
Tim Free, I don't know what I am yet.
Oh, he knows. Nick.
And Nick Dingus, one of the founding members with Dustin and Tim.
Okay. Well, guys, it's great to have you on. Thank you for being on. Thank you for jumping on here, wanting to tell everybody about your chapter. I know you said that it's a fairly young chapter starting out, and I'm sure that everybody listening in here will be open arms to be able to help you guys if you need any help growing, anything like that. Everybody's really keen to seeing everybody be successful in what we do. So, give me something else. How did the name Blackhawk come in?
Well, we had a few options out there. In the town that I work for, Oregon, there's a giant statue. If you Google it, they call it the Eternal Indian, Black Hawk Indian, from back in the 1800s. With the Chief Black Hawk was a famous Indian, so there's a huge statue, and it kind of just represents our area. The area kind of has the name Sauk Valley, based on the Indian tribe. So that was kind of one.
Okay. So I guess that's kind of the way your logo come out too, because you're paying tribute to that with the Indian feathers and everything else in it. That's pretty cool.
That turned out phenomenal.
It turned out really, really good.
Who did that logo for us?
I believe it was. Let me look that up quick before I butcher it. I don't want to give him bad press.
But I mean, it's a phenomenal job on the logo. Done a really good job on it.
Yeah, when that came in, that was probably one of the sickest logos I've seen out of the fire service in a long time.
And that was like he did one rendering. I think all he did was change colors, like right off the rip. He did a phenomenal Jobtown Graphics.
Okay, I've seen. We've actually got some of the guys from some of the firehouses in my department. He's done logos for them, so he does really, really good work.
Coins, shirts.
Yeah,
Good job.
good deal, good deal. So, fundraisers, training. What have you guys got started up going?
So, beginning of December, we held our first meeting.
Hmm.
I think we were all kind of almost a little nervous as to, how it was going to pan out, what was the participation going to look like, and we really wanted to just kind of use that to kick off the chapter, bring in new members. Basically, it was free training. We just asked that you took an app and paid your dues. 40 people showed up. We had a packed house in the space we were in. The thing that was kind of like the most interesting, I mean, we had guys from retirees down to probationary year firefighters here, and I mean it was an awesome night. It was about an hour and a half of some firefighter rescue survey data breakdowns. So it was a awesome training, great lecture, and then the camaraderie that came with it on top of it was just mind blowing. So when you sit and you kind of look at the different faces in the room and you start seeing all these different talents, really kind of it opened up my eyes. I mean, the possibilities really could be endless with different classes, different opportunities that we can put on because we've got members from all different sides of the fire service, from volunteer to career to dedicated truck companies to the absolute mastery level searches. It's exciting to see what transpires next. So
We had people drive 2 hours for that. Like we were in
Wow.
awe. We didn't even know. We were like, "Hey, who are you? Like, where are you from?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're from this." You drove 2 hours. Yeah, it looked good. It's like, holy crap! Like we thought our reach was going to be, I don't know, small. We're like, oh, our footprint will be small. It won't be a lot of people. And next thing you know, we're like, holy crap! We're probably at 60 members already.
That's awesome.
for only being really a couple months of being truly active.
That's,
No, I think that.
More than that.
Yeah, I think that what's really neat about all of this, and this is a testament to Dustin, Tim, and Tyler Carls, and all the young guys that really took the reins with this. I was part of the Fools chapter probably 20 years ago. It's like everything over time, it begins to wane a little bit, no pun intended, and trying to keep people really motivated and excited. And Tim's the training officer, and Byron, actually my brother's also a deputy chief. Dustin's on where my nephew's at, so I'm pretty proud of that as well. Wasn't sure I had the time to participate, and still not 100% sure how much I can give to these guys, but these guys are great, and I think with their heart in training and trying to make the fire service better, that really is what caught my eye. And when they brought out Jeffrey Bryant Jr. as kind of that inaugural push, Jeffrey was a cadet for me back now almost 20 years ago, probably 18 years ago, in Amboy, Illinois, before he moved on to Aurora, where he's now a lieutenant. And the work that Jeffrey, Brian Brush, and Nick Ledeen are doing with the Firefighter Rescue Survey is phenomenal. And it's great to put data and facts together, and then to start incorporate that in the training that we're doing. To be aggressive, but to be smart about the job that we're in and we're doing is really, really important. And to be able to disseminate and put that information out in real time is really good. And I think the great part about this, not everybody's at a chief level, although the three of us on here are chiefs. It's trying to get that information down to the troops and then back up to the people that make those decisions. And when that information is there, the data's to back it, and then we can provide some no-cost or low-cost training. And my hope is at some point we do more hands-on things, which I know these guys are really, really good at. And but we're just trying to get that groundswell together. And again, testament to the two young men that are sitting here with me tonight.
that is great. And I love the fact that you guys, you were saying you got retirees, you got guys that, were in the trenches for years, down to having new probationary firemen there. So we all know that, and, Nick, with you being in the Fools for years, training's a big thing. History and tradition's another big thing with the Fools. And think about how much that history and tradition can transpire from the old, the old guard to the new people that are just starting up, using that together, using the Fools as a median and a bridge to kind of keep, never have that generational gap to where they always have a common ground. And I love the part where you were talking about all three of you guys being chiefs and stuff. The one cool thing I love about the Fools is we see chief officers all the time. When they're dealing with the Fool stuff, you're not a chief then. You're a Fool's brother. You're a Fool's member. The politics of the firehouse or the fire department's got nothing to do whenever we're dealing with Fool stuff. It's just like-minded people that truly love the job. And it actually, as a chief, I'm not one, but I would think it would be a way to recharge your batteries. Refine your why when you're in there with the guys that are doing the work every day, and you're not getting bombarded with what's wrong with the firehouse, what's wrong with this station, what about this stuff, and actually just getting to talk about loving the job.
Yeah, that's 100% it. I always look for those little side things that I do on my days off that lets me kind of get back to the roots of the job. And I don't regret promoting up, being the chief. I absolutely love my job. I love my crews. But sometimes being able to go back in and get dirty in the trenches and just, be an instructor, be a firefighter, that rejuvenates that battery. It makes those long days sitting in the office just it makes it worth it, right? You're re-energize yourself. You can do the best thing for your people, your community. It's absolutely worth it.
Our area is full of young chiefs right now, which is awesome, because what better way to get young guys into training when they go, hey, the chief trains. To me, that's the best leadership, because we all know chiefs that don't do that. They quit caring about training a long time ago. They're just done with it. Well, that's not energizing the troops. Young chiefs that are training and really onto it, that's what's energizing the troops. And I think we're seeing that work well in our area as we speak.
I think a big part of that is just you got to lead from the front.
Yep.
And I think that's something that's really important. And you see over time, whether it's company officers or even chief officers promote up and maybe lose a little bit of touch on what's going on in the ground. And I think the training piece of that keeps you connected. And I think that's the part that is really, really fun. I hate being a chief. These guys know this. I absolutely hate it. I like fires moderately a lot, and but it gives the opportunity and the ability to really, to your point, Wayne, talk to all the people, because there is that common bond and that brotherhood. Not as a chief officer or a company officer, or paramedic. It's that you're all fools members and you're brothers that way, and I think that's the bond. And when you get like-minded individuals that are excited about the job, that's a big, big deal. Tim was kind enough to allow us to bring, what did we bring up, Tim, 27 or 30, 15 to 19-year-olds last weekend, and we did some live fire training up there, and we had probably a dozen instructors from the area. I mean, it's awesome. And to see these people excited and energized about a blue-collar job that sometimes gets overlooked, is a big, big deal. And again, it gets me energized. It started year 30 this week, and man, I love it every day. Yeah, every day.
But that's kind of a testament to that program too. Like, nowhere else in our immediate area, I don't know about, the nation, but where else are you having 27 high school kids coming to learn this craft?
Yeah.
It's unheard of. It's awesome.
On Sundays.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I do know Mike Goldstein with the Can Report. He, I talk with him a lot. They do a summer program where they've got the Explorers back running, and they actually go to the State Fire Academy, and they have like an Explorers Week where they're out there doing stuff, and that's great, because that's just like you're saying. That's taking those younger people and getting them hungry for a job that will provide for them their whole career.
The people aren't applying like they used to. We don't have a list of 100 people applying anymore.
Yeah, I mean, because when I went to get hired, there was 5 slots open. There was over 300 people. I just got brownie points because I was already a volunteer with the department. We got a lot of extra points because they knew I wasn't going to get my search and run away. I was going to stay there and take care of the place I grew up at. Now, and then I talk to people from all over the country, and now you can have 50 spots open, and you might get 80 people apply. Yeah. So you don't have a lot to pull from. So we've got to promote the love of the job, or the career of what we do, because it's not a job and it's not an experience. This is a career. This is a livelihood. This will, I tell the kids I teach all the time, this will give you everything you need to be successful if you put the work in. And it has the potential to give you more than what you need if you put the work in.
That is absolutely couldn't have been said any better. I got a little soft spot with these high school kids, and we operate a cadet program here in Byron, and it's actually, I came out of that cadet program in high school. So watching these 27 kids the other day, I mean, it makes you happy, right? That rejuvenates, I came out of that cadet program. I was here for a little while, had left, had spent 10 years at the department where I currently live at, and then come back here to Byron in 24, got offered this battalion chief spot, and now I'm back where I'm started. It's like a storybook, right? If you would have asked me that at 16, being a cadet that didn't know any better, walking through this building, not a chance that would have ever been in the cards, So they don't know what's ahead of them, and starting young like that, man, it just once that job gets its teeth in you, you're hooked.
Oh yeah. So I was doing a little bit of Facebook scrolling, and you guys had a pretty good little Christmas kickoff. Was that a fundraiser you guys done?
Yeah, so that was that training we were just talking about.
Okay.
And that was our first go. Did you see the group photo?
No, I'm looking at the bottle of Blanton's. I ain't gonna lie. That's the first thing that popped up. I mean,
that's what drew all the people in.
So we were actually, as a part of that kickoff party, we did a little raffle, and different guys, different shifts, they all kind of threw in and got a bottle. We raffled it off, sold raffle tickets, and
Okay, I see the group now. That's a good turnout.
yeah.
It's a really
So the
good
whole
turnout.
point of the raffle was to go to support a guy that, I mean, you mention his last name in this area, everybody knows him, right? Chief Brian Kuntz, he's been a mentor to thousands of people in his career. Earlier in 25, got diagnosed with, of course, cancer. So far, he's been doing great and just kicking ass. And so we thought, we had an opportunity to get the brothers together and raise just about $1,000 cash for them to kind of help offset some expenses. And so,
Just off people donating stuff, it's like, it was cool to see the brotherhood come together, like, here's a bottle of Blanton's, and it's like, hey, that's not cheap. And people were throwing some pretty high dollar bottles out there,
Yeah.
which was intriguing, because then you're like, I need this, so I'm throwing money at it.
Yeah, and it's given an opportunity to grow, try to raise some funds for the chapter to grow. And I'm not gonna lie to everybody listening or you guys either one. I'm scrolling down trying to see some of the stuff you guys have going on. So we got some new kind of do some stuff, and I just had one that popped up, and it was from last week, and you shared a post of somebody I know very well, company officer. And it says, stop hiding behind your bay doors. You work for the citizens in the community you serve. And we can take that into so many different things with our Fools chapters and everything else. And that's what we're trying to do here and giving the opportunity. We're giving everybody an opportunity to let the world find out about them. That way we can show everybody, hey, we're trying to get these trainings going. We're trying to promote the brotherhood. We're trying to keep the tradition locked down the way it should be. We're trying to do good work, giving all the chapters around a chance to do it. And those high school kids wouldn't be showing up to you guys if you weren't getting out and making some noise where people knew what was going on. It's showing that you're doing some work.
And thank God for Facebook, right? Because that helps too. I mean, that's a incredible tool just to reach out to people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna show my age again. I mean, me and Nick had AOL. I mean, that was about it. That's when we was getting high tech then. And then we got MySpace, and it was, whoa.
Love it, love it. The one thing, you said don't hide behind the bay door, and I always think that's really important. And I felt like that when I was a career firefighter. On every call that we go on is a marketing opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And I worked just north of these guys as a career for the city of Rockford, and loved every second of it. And we were fairly busy, and in many cases we were in a socioeconomical challenged area, but. Every run we went on was our chance to market to keep our jobs. And I remember about my second or third year on, they were looking at cutting 40 of us. And I think my mindset changed that, what, it's somebody's grandma we're taking care of. It's somebody's son. It's somebody's daughter. And, be nice to these people. Treat them all with respect. And those are the people that we found out about 9 months later were going to bat for us to keep our jobs.
Oh yeah.
And to keep firehouses open. And I've always thought that every time we're out, even I'm in a volunteer community now or small town, that every run we go on, just be nice to the people. And, if we can, check their smoke alarms and batteries and help out any way we can, the runs we get are today our marketing opportunity. And then to the trainings that we do on the weekends, we're trying to put, video out and pictures and tag all the kids. That one, I hope that their parents and families are proud. I hope the young people are proud of what they're doing. And, I've always said Maslow had a theory, a hierarchy, and I think number one is self-actualization. And if we can put these kids where they're proud of what they're doing, then that's a big, big deal. And hopefully that's going to inspire them to continue down the path of service to their communities.
Oh yeah. If we planting the seed of a servant-based mindset, and that's Bernardini 101. That truly is. Be nice. We're riding around in big red billboards saying your tax dollars at work. If you don't believe me, drive a little fast. Say how long it takes the chief to get a phone call. If you into woo-woo blue car, nobody says nothing because they don't want a ticket. But let the big red one roll through. You'll get a phone call kind of quick. So What kind of training have you guys got planned on coming up? I know you're scheming on something.
So the in the immediate future, we're just waiting on a confirmation on our space. We're looking at just another, meeting slash training night in April, getting the group back together, trying to get those in kind of quarterly.
Like a tactics on tap type thing.
Yeah, so this one's going to be about our speaker's going to be doing a conversation about mentorship in the fire service.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's my jam. I love it.
Man, that is one of the field. Like, I mean, we need it every day, right? We're fire service is getting younger, and we've lost a tremendous amount of time on the job and experience over the last 10 years. So it's time to kind of start building that up because, sooner or later we're all going to be hitting the age and going down the road, and we got to make sure we're leaving the job ready for that.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty excited about that one.
The best part of that is the guy teaching it is the one that we raised money for in December for
That is
cancer.
great.
So,
That is-
just for him to come back and rejuvenated, and he learned a lot over that time. It was obviously a scary time for him, and now he's got a little bit of a new lease on life, and now we get to reap the benefits of what he has to say. So that's going to be phenomenal.
Absolutely. Yeah, because one thing that I say all the time, I say it when I'm teaching in conferences and other things, is stories matter. You learn more from stories than you ever will from a textbook, more than you ever will from a lecture. Down from things we've done great to the knucklehead things we've done that somebody else needs to learn not to do a knuckleheaded thing. But the stories matter. And how did our elders in today teach? They sat in the bay and told us stories, and we learned from those stories. That's something I preach on a lot, that we need to keep going. We need to get back to being in the bay all the time, either in the bay or sitting around the kitchen table and telling those stories. That's like Nick's got 30 years on, he was saying. That's 30 years worth of experience he can share with somebody having a conversation. If they've got 2 years on the job, when Nick gets done, guess what? They've got 32 years of experience. Look how much further they are ahead. They've still got to put hands-on knowledge to make it work with the stories of what he's saying, but they've been exposed to it. Where if those conversations never happened, they wouldn't have a clue about any of it. There's a lot of screw-ups I've done over the course of my career that I can educate somebody on what not to do, trust me.
Still making them. I mean, that's real.
Nick,
So
I'm gonna bust you out for just a second. So if you wanna mute, go right ahead. We talked about sharing those stories and those experiences. My favorite version of Nick sitting here is when he's coming out of those live burns and he's got those group of students circled around him, going off of past experience, or hey, this is what we saw. Like watching the level of engagement from those guys that just went through, lived that drill, maybe got their ass kicked, and now they're getting the real world, that true experience. That's what we need more of out there
Yes.
today. And we've got guys, right? It's just we got to make sure that with the mentoring that we're getting them in the right place at the right time. And
It's all about the opportunity.
yeah, absolutely.
So a couple things that I think are important. And thank you, Tim. But one, experience is learning from your mistakes, and I believe that, right? I would say I've made more mistakes in the fire service than probably most. Probably same thing in the back of an ambulance, but I've always tried to put myself out there to do that. And then one thing I learned a long time ago when I was at the city of Rockford, Gordy Beach was one of our district chiefs, and Gordy, I would say, was probably one of the smartest, if not the smartest fireman I've ever met. And after every fire, after every extrication, anything that was good, he immediately pulled us back in the kitchen, and we sat around. We had an engine company, we had a ladder company in our house, and him, and we would talk about what was good and what was bad. And the thing that I really took from that was, one, he was very attentive as a listener, and two, he always typically started the conversation with, here's what I saw and here are the mistakes that I made. And that as a leader was a big deal. And we try to do that even today in my firehouse and the firehouse I've been in. Is like, I want these people, I want them to be able to talk freely. I want them to share what they saw, good and bad. And I want them to critique what we did. Because, sometimes we get these calls, and I always say we're like JoJo the jumping monkey, right? We get so excited. And even as a chief officer or company officer, yeah, we're trying to take that tunnel vision, pare it back out, and there are times that we miss things. And you know what? I want to hear from that new person, because they can give perspective, I think, to all of us that we can take back to make better decisions the next time. And the other thing I heard many years ago in Rockford was, you can throw 1,000 books at a fire, it's never put one out. And I've never been a good book learner. But the more we can train, the more we can drill, the more we can do these hands-on things with true experience, that's what we can take, share, and pass on to this next generation, and hopefully get them excited about the future of the fire service.
Bravo. Amen. I'm looking around for a plate to pass, I'm telling you. That's great. I mean, that's exactly what it is, and I will be the first one to say that every Fools chapter I have spoken with so far this month are on the same mission. I teach. That's what I do every day. It's my job. I have to do the book stuff, but I really love the drill yard, because then I can start because until we put our hands in it, everything is theory. Until you can put it to your hands, it's nothing but a theory. But you have Fools chapters, every one of them. They're getting lecturers in that have experience on what they're talking about. So whenever they do go and do those hands-on drills, they do have those opportunities. Everything's clicking. And it's not lecturing a fire to death, because you're not going to put one out through lecture. And all those books you hold, and if you fan it, it'll get a little bigger, or if you throw the books on top of the fire, it's going to get a little bit bigger. But books have a place when you can apply it to the brain and then make it where the hands go to work. I mean, everything's got a place. Just a lot of times we go one extreme to another, and you got to have that good bridge in between the two. But every Fools chapter is trying to make good, realistic training where it keeps people interested. One of the other chapter guys I was talking with a couple weeks ago, he said, you got two ways of looking at it. You can pull hand lines or pull the handle on a recliner. That's your two choices a lot of time. Which one are you going to do? And he said it is our mission is to get people so hungry they want to go pull hand lines more than they want to pull the handle on a recliner. Because that's the people that take care of us, that provide us with the opportunity to serve them, deserve. They deserve us to be pulling hand lines and being ready to go to work when the bells do drop.
I think the lecture part, that's the bonus of the Fool stuff, that's your opportunity to break bread with everybody.
Absolutely.
So a lecture might be an hour or two, but maybe we get to drink beers for an hour or two before and after, and that's where you start talking to people that you've never met before from departments you don't.
Yeah. I mean, some of the people I spent the most time talking to, I met at a Fool's Bash. Never met them before. We lived 5 or 6 states away from each other, but we met each other there, broke into a conversation, and now it's constant. And then what are we doing? We're bouncing ideas off of each other, training ideas. How did this work? What do you think about this? Where if we never had the Fools, we would have never met each other. So how much has things progressed just from being a member from one chapter to another and meeting each other at a bash?
Dave Dubowski, he gave us all the time in the world when we first started. And like a few weeks later, he's like, hey, I'm stopping by. You guys around? And he drives, 5-6 hours north, and was excited just to take pictures of new fire trucks. And, he's a big buff, so he had a good time. So I thought it was pretty cool for, top dog like that in Fools. And he was like, I'm stopping by. And it's like, out here and then out in the sticks, you're going to stop? Yep, I'll be there. That's pretty nice of him to do that.
Well, he was on here the other night. We number one. No, I mean, so. I love me some Dave. He's good people. So, guys, have you got anything else you want to wrap up with, or I know you got your quarterly stuff.
Training wise, we're not going to have anything to offer that's huge coming up.
Yeah.
It's just the infancy stage. We're trying to grow. But I think 2027 is going to look different. Like this year is kind of a good way to let's keep raising some money because our goal is to try to not have to charge people to come to our trainings. It's like let's keep this as free as we can. I think 2027, Nick's got connections. Jeff Bryant and the Fire Nuggets said, hey, we're willing to host stuff with you guys. So, I mean, that's endless opportunities. We could probably run classes for 20 years straight on those two offers alone. We get the right training centers to use. I think it's going to be good. Conference-wise, we'll see. I'm sure one of these days we're going to say, screw it.
It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Let it grow at its pace.
And maybe by 2027, we might have our bank account set up too.
Hopefully,
We're still having an issue with that.
It'll be all right, man. It'll be okay. Everybody has stumbles. Everybody takes time to grow. The really big chapters didn't happen in a month. It didn't happen in a year. It took plenty of time. You guys are doing great, especially to have the turnouts you did right out of the rip. Just
We appreciate that.
Good job, guys. So everybody, this is about it for tonight. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up. Guys, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your chapter. Anybody, if you want to reach out to these guys, blackhawkfools@gmail.com, or get on their Facebook page, give them a like, look at some of their material, give them a share, help them grow. Everybody needs everybody else's support. Until next time, guys, stay safe, keep learning. I'll see you when the next group comes on the chalkboard. Remember, FTM, PTB.